Did you know that nearly 80 of people report feeling a deep sense of confusion and regret when someone they care about suddenly disappears from their life? This reveals just how powerful absence can be in relationships in today's video. We're exploring the complex emotions that arise when you choose to step away from self-reflection and regret for lost opportunities to the confusion that can leave them questioning. Everything will uncover the 9 profound feelings they experience when you simply vanish. Stay tuned to understand how your absence can lead to a deeper awareness of their own behavior and desires. Point 1, self-reflection. When you step away, they're forced to look inward. Your absence isn't just physical, it's a silence that compels them to examine their own actions. Every unresolved moment, every argument or decision that drove you away now haunts them. They start seeing where they went wrong, what they took for granted, and what they simply overlooked. Think about relationships that end. People often go through a period of reflection, questioning if they could have acted differently. They replay missed signs, hurtful words, and moments they ignored because they never saw the consequences. Your decision to step back pushes them to confront these realizations, often for the first time. This self-reflection is essential. By not being there, you give them the space to face their own behavior and see the role they played in the disconnect. Sometimes stepping away is the only way to make them truly see themselves. Point 2, regret for lost opportunity. The pain of lost chances cuts deep. When you're no longer around, they start feeling the regret of losing someone genuine, someone who invested in them and brought real value. They see the potential. They let slip away, realizing what they took for granted is now out of reach. Consider someone who leaves a stable, supportive relationship for a more exciting fling. Eventually, reality sets in, and they're left wishing they had valued what they had. It's that classic story. You don't know what you have. It's that classic story. You don't know what you have until it's gone. Now your disappearance becomes that story for them. They're left with the cold realization that their choices led to losing someone irreplaceable. By walking away, you've become the missed opportunity. You're the path they didn't take, the choice they failed to value. Sometimes being the one they regret losing is the strongest position you can hold. Point 3, increased curiosity. Disappearing without warning creates an air of mystery that's impossible to ignore. Start wondering what happened, what you're up to, and why you're no longer within reach. This curiosity gnaws at them, pulling their attention back to you again and again. Then they start imagining scenarios, asking questions, and trying to fill in the blanks. Think about when someone you know suddenly pulls away. You can't help but feel intrigued by what you can't fully understand. Now you're that mystery that unanswered question in their mind they can't let go of. People are drawn to the unknown, and your silence only intensifies their desire to know more. Don't feel pressured to break that silence. Let them wonder. Curiosity will keep them thinking about you long after you're gone. Sometimes that's all it takes for them to see your worth. Point 4, loneliness. When you're no longer around, your absence leaves a void that they feel deeply. Maybe at first they didn't notice it, thinking life would move on. But over time, the silence grows louder, and they start missing the warmth, comfort, and companionship you brought. This loneliness becomes a reminder of what they had and lost. Consider a friend who shared every laugh and struggle with you, only to later drift away. At first, the distance feels manageable, but eventually the emptiness sets in, and you feel the loss on a deeper level. Your absence creates that same feeling for them. The loneliness forces them to recognize what they're missing. Your absence isn't just an empty space, it's a statement. It forces them to confront what they've lost. That loneliness often becomes the only way for them to truly grasp your value. Point 5, confusion. Leaving without an explanation stirs up confusion. Suddenly, they're left replaying every interaction, wondering what went wrong and if they could have changed things. They're in the dark, piecing together where things fell apart and overanalyzing each memory. This state of confusion leaves them questioning themselves, feeling uncertain about their own actions. Imagine quitting a job without notice. Everyone's left wondering why, trying to figure out what went wrong. Now they're left with that same confusion, struggling to understand why you're no longer around. They start overthinking, analyzing past moments, searching for signs that weren't there. That unanswered question is powerful. It keeps them thinking, regretting, and wondering. Sometimes leaving them in confusion has a deeper impact than any direct explanation. Point 6, resentment toward themselves when you vanish. They're left with regret, which can evolve into resentment. But here's the catch. This resentment isn't toward you, it's toward themselves. They start realizing their own mistakes, understanding they played a role in driving you away. Think of someone who pushed away a good friend, only to later realize it was their own fault. The anger and frustration they feel isn't directed outward, it's directed inward. They start feeling the sting of knowing they're the reason things fell apart, and that's self. Resentment is a powerful reminder of their own shortcomings by disappearing. You're making them confront their role in the situation, that self. Resentment can often be the most impactful lesson they'll ever face. Point S, a drive for self-improvement. Your absence can trigger something unexpected. A desire for change, seeing what they lost and understanding why can spark a drive to improve. They start questioning their actions, realizing they need to change if they want to avoid making the same mistakes again. Your absence becomes their wake-up call. Consider someone who loses a job due to performance issues after the shock. They often feel motivated to work harder, develop new skills, and prove themselves in the same way. Your departure can ignite a spark for self-improvement in them. Sometimes stepping away is the best way to inspire real change by leaving. You're giving them the chance to realize they need to do better. Point 8, a newfound respect for boundaries. When you walk away, you make a statement about what you will and won't accept. They start to understand that you have limits and those limits matter. Your absence teaches them that they can't just overstep without facing the consequences. Imagine someone constantly testing your patience. When you finally walk away, they're forced to confront that they crossed the line in relationships. This realization is powerful. They begin to understand that your boundaries weren't suggestions, they were non-negotiable by leaving. You're teaching them a critical lesson. If they want to be in your life, they need to respect your boundaries. This newfound respect might just be the wake-up call they needed. Point N, realization of personal responsibility when you're no longer there. They're left with the truth that they played a role in the situation. They start to understand that they're accountable for their actions, words, and behavior without you. They can't shift the blame. They're left with no one else to face but themselves. Imagine a colleague who blames others for mistakes, but one day finds themselves alone on a project. Suddenly, there's no one to blame but themselves. This forces them to take ownership of their choices, often for the first time. Your absence does the same. It makes them realize they hold responsibility for their actions. By leaving, you're pushing them to take accountability. They start to see they're in control of their choices, and that's a lesson they won't forget. If you found this exploration into the feelings that arise when you disappear insightful, remember that your absence can spark profound change in others. By stepping away, you might just be giving them the chance to reflect, grow, and truly appreciate what they had. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments. What emotions have you noticed in others when you chose to step back? Don't forget to subscribe for more content that dives deep into human behavior and relationships. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.